A lot of scams going around in during World War I, World War II. One of them was something that Kennedy was doing, or it was possibly the black people. I don't really know, but somebody was basically going around, and because there's a lot of information at the Pentagon. So one of the things that Kennedy did when he started, fake Kennedy, he wasn't really Kennedy. Basically, Nixon did when they started was pretty much they would look up property address codes or property addresses basically in another country, namely Berlin or one of these countries. And basically what they would do is they would then go and they would either hire someone to clean out the house or to clean out the residence of the house, or what they would do is they would actually just go and print up a bill of ownership and a bill and the thing having their signature on it, and then they would go around to somebody in America or someplace, and they'd be like, "We have a house for sale. We have a house for sale. Oh, sign here. Give us your money, and you can own this house." And basically, what this was saying, one of the scams that Nixon or why the Kennedy brothers were actually going to Washington D.C. or the Pentagon, is they were basically getting information on old houses, and and basically then they would go around and they would basically take pictures of it, or they would whatever. And it's a common scam that a lot of people do. They'll take a picture of a house and then they'll go to another country and they'll be like, I got a house for sale, and yeah, here's the photograph, and here, yes, I'm Mr. So and so. And then basically all they did was just basically look up the records, and this is traced back to JFK and Kennedy, and probably some Africans or some other people basically selling houses pretty much around World War I and World War II, around there, all the way up until 1960 or whatever. They like to sell houses in other countries basically to people, and they're basically like, there you go, you can buy your house here. I'm selling off apartments number 128, 362, and everybody goes, yes, okay, side here, give us your money, yeah, okay, now okay, there you go, your house is waiting for you, bye. And they were doing this around World War I, World War II. They were selling. They would just have they would just get the property address code, and basically then print up a piece of paper that had the right person's name on it, and basically sold the house to someone in another country. Be like, okay, yeah, go get your house. There you go. Thank you. Money. Okay, bye. And they would run. And basically, this was traced back to basically Republicans, JFK, Nixon. They had access to the property records of basically of other countries in the Pentagon and some of these other places. And once they got those addresses, they would then go and sell those houses, those buildings. They would set up a nice little realty office. Yes, your house is wait. Yes, buy a house. Okay, there you go. And people would and they'd have pictures. They looked all official and everything like that. And they even had nice printed up pieces of paper that looked like land deeds and all that other stuff. And they were selling off properties in Berlin and other countries. And then they would take people. Every penny everyone the people had or something like that, and be like, okay, but you have your new house and your farm, have a nice day. Except not with that accent, probably. Part of the Nazi whatever revolution or something like that. And they basically just had their property address codes and everything else like that, and the name of the owner of the family that owned it or whatever. And they're basically selling off parcels in Berlin and Germany and all these other places, which there were Germans there, and Germans owned it and had owned the property for like 30 or 40 years. And basically then they were basically in Washington D.C. and they would sell it to some unsuspecting American or some unsuspecting person, and the person would spend their money, and then they would go get on the boat, ding dong, and expect to walk into their new house and find out, oh no, I didn't sell my house. And sometimes they particulated in the scam where there's also this happening, where sometimes they would have people at the house going, no, I didn't sell my house, I'm sorry, there's no property sale here. And they would actually they did the scam both ways, where sometimes they sold people's houses, or sometimes they would sell a house 5 times, where they would just have someone there that would just go, no, I'm sorry, I didn't sell my house, no, and they were all in on it. They're like, no, I didn't sell my house. Like, or sometimes people would be like, get the f- out of here, man. And they would shoo off, a bunch of kids, and they would shoo off the people who had just bought the house legitimately or something like that. Sometimes the house actually was for sale, but then they had some young kids that would act all psycho and be like, "Get out of here before I get all whatever on you," and these poor family people would basically be like, and basically they had just been taken and they had just got on a ship and spent all their money to get to this new house and find out, the house isn't for sale, and then they go and talk to the property records and sometimes they're all in on it. The property record people were in on it too. No, 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 no. I'm sorry, those people didn't sell their house. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. They haven't sold their house. No, 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 no. Yes, no. They definitely did not sell their house. Where you have all these scams going around, and this happens between 1920 and 1940, where we have all these scams going around, where people are selling houses, and sometimes they sell a house for 5 times, up to 5 times. And it's just a good scam. And sometimes sometimes they sell houses that they don't even own. Anyway, a lot of this is going around. A lot of this is happening between between 1920 and 1940, and there's just all these scams and scams where they sell people's houses, or they buy a house legitimately, and then they sell it up to 5 times, and they basically be like, and so they've collected money for the house up to 5 times, and then so 5 people technically own the house, and then it's like, and they're never get their money out of it, and because the house is only worth what it's worth, but these other people collected 5 times the value for the house, and this is all happening a lot, and or the farm, and then they run off, and all these scams are happening a lot between 1920 and 1940, and probably has been happening a long time. So anyway, and it involves my property records office and all that other stuff, and it's just bribes and all that other stuff, and so there's all kinds of abuse of free will and everything else, and Nixon or somebody, a lot of people are taking part in this, where it's really, really bad. I mean, basically civilization was almost not possible because of all these people just like, and none of them want to go to jail, and none of them want to get caught, so they're like, I don't know what's going on. And there's all these old people like, I don't know. My son takes care of all of it. Where we have all these people that are acting this way, and basically, they're selling houses up to 5 times, they're doing this, they're doing that. It's all chaos. And this is happening between 1920 and 1940, and there's just all this stuff from people basically going like this to people, to it'd be like, we're moving in, to people going like this and be like, and the girls are like, oh, yeah, it feels good. Oh yeah, it feels good. With the knife to their throat. And the guy's like, you better feel good, bitch. And all this is happening between 1920 and 1910, and it's all really bad. It's horrible. Like I say, most people say to me, oh, I feel bad for him. It's like, I feel bad for the rest of the world. Like the chaos that they had to go through, like, my God. Like there was some scary fucking shit going on between 1920 and 1940. That's one of the reasons why people were running to America, because in America I was like, no. Anyway, and basically, I was the most psycho killer. Yeah, whatever. I was like, no, this is not going to happen. And I had other life forms to help. So anyway, all this was happening, and it was chaos, basically. So, it was really bad. It's like like people say they feel sorry for me. It's like, no, I mean, I feel sorry for everyone else. Like, my God, like all the horrible things that were happening, and we had to go through and basically sort it all out. and for the most part, we sorted it out, and stuff like that, where it kind of was okay. And realistically, groups, unless you had a group with you, like the Jewish community or one of these other communities, like you were pretty much hosed. I mean, the Black Legion or whatever, and all these other groups would just basically, the 3,000 people would basically take over your house, and there's nothing you could do unless you were Jewish or someone. So